Diane in Denmark here, rah rah rah. Do not adjust your set. Yes, I am wearing some leisure wear today. Quite often I'll say to you, I'm making my video in the morning and I'm just back from a skinny dip in the sea. Today it was a wee bit different. I've actually been swimming inside a swimming pool, of all places, with a costume on. As many of you know, I am now an ice swimmer and I'm getting ready for the World Championships taking place in Slovenia at the start of next month. And today I had a one-on-one training session, a personal swimming lesson with my friend Sue. Now, Sue features in many of my videos. She's the one who roped me into the ice swimming. And she's a swimming teacher, so I booked a private swimming lesson with her today to get some tips and tricks on my technique. And this was actually the retro top that you may have seen that I got at the last clothes swap. So, and I have to say that the retro top went really well with my retro breaststroke technique today. I was learning today that things have changed since I first learned to swim when I was about 45 years ago, when I was 7 years old. Anyway, I got some great tips from Sue, so I'm feeling all psyched up for the championships. Anyway, I wanted to check in with you today because it's been a wee while since we've done kind of books and TV, what I'm watching on Netflix, HBO, cinema, stuff like that. And the last time, I think it was probably before Christmas. Now, you know I have a basket. This is our library basket. Keep all our library books in here, things that I get at the book exchange. Then I know where everything is. And also in the bottom of here, I keep bookmarks. And my bookmarks, they are usually, these little things that you get when you're traveling, if you've been in a museum or a shop. So that's what I like to use for my bookmarks, because instead of just throwing them away, I'm holding on to them for something useful. Clutter-free bookmarks. Anyway, let's dive into it, if you excuse the swimming pun. I've got various categories here today, and I'll start with the classic kind of reading books. And often I try and, many of you give me some tips, and I try and find them, and lots of them I can find at our local library. Some of them I've just picked up. Anyway, this is one that I'm reading at the moment, and I just picked that up off the shelf, basically because I like the look of the cover. It's called Mycroft and Sherlock. I'm about a third of the way through it. Take a wee look at it. Took a wee while to get into, but I'm really enjoying it now. And if you love anything to do with Conan Doyle and Sherlock, this will be right up your street. And apparently it's written by somebody, he's an American athlete. I don't know if it was basketball or baseball. Anyway, the Americans will know. This one I also picked up at the library, and also Vibeke had been reading it too. Jessica Fellowes' The Mitford Murders. It wasn't bad, but for me it was a kind of 3 out of 5 star, and I just thought it was just kind of too long. What was it, 420 pages, but not bad. Quite enjoyed that one. This is the one, that I got for Christmas, and I ordered it for myself in September. Kids wrapped it up, and this is the only books that I buy these days. Not like my husband. That's my husband's books on the shelves here and also on the shelves next door. But this one, I love Montalbano, who sadly is now dead. But the translation of his books are coming out about 1 or 2 per year. So, and I think this is like number 23. I have all the books and I love them. This is just such good reading. If you've ever tried Andrea Calimeri before, there we go. Anything the Montalbano series is fantastic. And one of the other ones that I read, just check it, I got it as a download from our library, and it was somebody in the group here who had mentioned it, and it was a nice quick read. Here we are, The Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper, and it's one of those kind of feel-good reads, if you know. Anyway, and it was a very quick read, so if you're looking for something, if you're going away for the weekend, going on a long plane trip, that this is a good one for that. And I'll just see if there's any other ones on my list. list that I've forgotten about. Hold on, let me see. Got Mitford Murders. Oh, and there was one other one that I've read of kind of normal books. And this was actually one of my husband's books. If I can just get the picture up. Evelyn Waugh, the Loved One. I don't know if you'll pick that up there. Hold on, let me go back. There we are. The Loved One by Evelyn Waugh. He thought, my husband thought I might like it because I'm really into P.G. Wodehouse and the Jeeves. And this one, yeah, it's of the same ilk, but it's not got the humour. In my books, I need to have a bit of humour in them, you know, especially my cosy crimes. Montalbano's got a bit of humour in it, even if the murders can be gruesome. Because I know a lot of you have suggested the Louise Penny series, things like that, but there's not enough humour in them for me. I need to have a wee bit more humour in my books. Anyway, that was the kind of reading books. And then let's, oh, and I'll show you the ones that I picked up, these ones I picked up this week. Another copy of The Simple Things, a really nice hygge magazine. I can see there, cosy. It's a British one, and it's basically like easy recipes, just feel-good stuff, furnishings, places to go, and ideas. So that's one that I get from the library. I don't have any paid subscriptions. And this is another one I had mentioned. It's by a monk. The monk, oh, what was it? I can't remember what the other one he's done. I've been in a waiting list for a long time. Things you can see only when you slow down. Mindfulness. But it's quite cheesy, the little quotes and things, but it's a nice little book. But I'm not really into these style of books. I like to read, you know, I like to read a little story. Reading about, you know, how to change your life and things like that, I prefer to just do it. I'm not so keen on reading about it. But anyway, you may want to check out that one. I've mentioned one of his other books before. And these are two, somebody mentioned when I was doing the Christmas books that she had really enjoyed this series. Edward Marston, and this one's called A Christmas Railway Mystery. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first couple of chapters, and if I like it, I'm going to add it to my list for Christmas reading for next Christmas. Because this is one from our library here in Copenhagen, so I can order that again for Christmas if it looks like one that I'm going to enjoy. So you'll find out more about that next Christmas. And this one, somebody on Instagram had posted which books they were reading at the moment, and this one looked interesting. And I love these British Library Crown Classics. It's a series from the British Library Crown Classics. It does what it says on the tin. And I've read many of the other ones. They are, you know, classic mysteries. And this one is called Crimson Snow Winter Mysteries. And I've read, if I remember rightly, I've read many of the authors. It's short stories. I've read many of the authors before. Let me see, Marjorie Allingham, Edgar Wallace, Michael Gilbert, I think I've read. So anyway, I'm looking forward to delving into that one. I like these ones with short stories because you can find out, you know, if you're going to enjoy the author, and also when you're taking your 15 minutes break, or whether you're reading it during your lunch hour or just before you go to bed. It's a nice short thing. So that's more on stories. A couple that I picked up my husband picked up for me at the book exchange, and I picked up at the book exchange, was the P.D. James. I'm keeping that in reserve until I run out of library books, because you know I love P.D. James. So hold on to that one for a while. And this one I picked up at the book exchange. If you're in Britain, you know all about Mary Berry. I mean, Mary Berry is the queen of baking, a bit like Delia Smith. And this has obviously come out since she was in all the TV programmes of the Great British Bake Off. And actually it's a really nice, you know, basic baking book, but also with some new ideas. Oh, and I'm always a bit bemused when I see the Danish pastries, because quite often Danish pastries in other places around the world have got nothing to do with the Danish pastries that we eat here in Denmark, which are called wienerbrød or Vienna bread. But anyway, that's a nice one. I'm going to be holding on to this for a while. Usually I can just kind of read them and then pass them on to somebody else at a clothes swap or a book exchange. But I think this one I might hold on to for a wee while. Okay, and then there's more. What time are we at? Oh, good. Right, and then I've got some travel books. Now, we picked up some books at the library because we are hopefully going to Korea for our summer vacation. So we're looking into that. And I've been saying to family, and we have to take the train to Busan because you probably remember before I've mentioned, I'm not into zombie films. There's a zombie film called Train to Busan, and you are laughing and you are scared, and it's like being on a roller coaster. And it's a Korean film set in the Train to Busan. So if we get to Korea, I am going on the Train to Busan, hopefully minus the zombies. So I got those ones, and this is a new one from Time Out. Let me see. Yeah, the library got it on the 16th of December. Things about Copenhagen, and again it's always fun to see Copenhagen through a tourist's eyes because it's not the kind of places that we would ever go, or maybe it's a new place that I can try out. So I'm going to have a quick look through there, but you'll see many, and there's a lot of things about swimming, harbour swimming, so that's right up my street. And the other books that I've picked up are all about Slovenia, because here, look at all these books. This is where I'm going to be swimming in this lake in the World Championships of Ice Swimming. And I've heard it's a place, a town called Bled, and people say it is like, fairy tale pictures of Slovenia. It will always be the lake at Bled with the castle here. So that is where I'm going to be swimming. It won't be as warm as it looks there in the picture, but you can see there we are again, and there we are again. So I've been looking into Bled, and I'm going off with the ladies in my group, and there'll be 5 or 6 of us. We've got an apartment for the time that we're there, and we'll also have a few men with us for our relay teams, because you've got to be mixed for the relay teams. But anyway, more about that later. And then, where did I get? Oh yeah, a few more kind of lifestyle books. This is another cookbook. This is also Nadia Hussain. She is the winner, there's the name there. She was the winner of the Great British Bake Off. She was either first or second, and I can never, sometimes the ones who come second or third become more famous than the winners. But she had a book of family favourites, and there are some quite interesting recipes in there. I'm not really sure if I'm going to make anything from it, but it was quite nice to look through. So that's one that I borrowed from the library. Also, Mrs. Hinch, you've probably heard of her. She's all over Instagram and very popular in Britain. It's cleaning things. Now this is a very basic book, about how to, clean out your sink and all these things. And it was actually quite a fun read. I wasn't sure what to expect because she is quite over the top. The only problem I have with it is the amount of product that's being used. And all the smells and all the scents. So it's if you're not really good at cleaning or don't know where to start, start with Flylady's system. She also mentions cleaning out your sink at the end of the day. Just back off a bit from the products. You don't need to be throwing things like fabric softener in everything that you use, and be very, very careful with the amount of perfumes and chemicals that you use in your home. They can be a dangerous mix, especially if you have animals, especially if you have young kids. So I don't like the use of chemicals. I think it's it's almost as bad as not cleaning your house as throwing too much product onto everything. But it was quite a fun read, and she mentions all her. It's just like Flylady stuff. There's nothing new under the sun. But make it fun for yourself. Having your fun cleaning products, like I've got my There we are, just grab behind you. You know, having a cleaning caddy of stuff that you like, and putting on the good music and enjoying it and doing things in short bursts. So there you are. And this one is a Danish book, and it's called For på vej means spring. Spring is on the way, and it's just one of those nice books to look at and get ideas for decorating. You know, in Scandinavia we like to keep things very simple. We've got the candles going all year round, all the white decorations, and as much as possible we try and use very natural decorations, things from your garden. Let's have a wee look in here, just have a look. Oh, there's some. And it's just talking about, you know, the sheep coming out and having an Easter lunch. And whenever I see things like this, it makes me think of my bestie Vibeke. If you want to see how Vibeke decorates in her house, my bestie, she's a type 2 in the Dressing Your Truth system, and her decorating style is very much, it's beautiful, soft, everything is connected. I'll put the link up there to my recipes and crafts playlist where you can see how Vibeke decorates. But it's just beautiful, beautiful pictures to get you in the mood for spring and ways to make some easy decorations. And the last thing, hold on. Yeah, I have to say it feels very weird sitting here in sports clothes making a video, but anyway, at least I look the part. I was out when it was still dark this morning down at the swimming pool. Anyway, things that we have seen on television and films, a lot of good stuff recently. Now, you know, my son and I, we went through all 8 series of Game of Thrones. That was just before Christmas, and whew, that took a while, but I'm glad I've seen it now, because now I can kind of talk to strangers, and if you've got nothing else to talk about, if they've seen Game of Thrones, you can launch right into it. Anyway, since then, we have seen one, my husband and my daughter and I, we watched, I think it was called Alias Grace. It's a Margaret Atwood book, which has been, did she write the story? Was there a book as well? I'm not sure. Anyway, that was really, really interesting, though the kind of weird Irish accents, Irish Canadian accents kind of grated on me a bit sometimes. But anyway, that was really good. And it's just 5 episodes. It wasn't too much of a long series. Dracula, I mentioned, I think, a couple of weeks back. Dracula is, it was, if I remember correctly, it's a British production, and it is starring Claes Bang, who is a Danish actor. Now, if you didn't know he was Danish, you wouldn't know he was Danish, because he's got a really, really good British accent. And it was quite funny, because if I closed my eyes, I kept on thinking, he sounds like Jude Law when he's speaking English. Anyway, Dracula was really good. 3 episodes, and it was that real kind of, you know, hide behind the sofa stuff, because my daughter kept on saying, "Mum, why have you got that pillow in front of you?" I was like, oh, well, so exciting. And no, I have to say, I really liked the first episode. Second one was really good, and the third one, not so much. But anyway, I won't, no spoilers. One that I finished watching this weekend was Chernobyl. Again, it's not the kind of thing I would normally watch, but I really enjoy it, because you know what's going to happen in Chernobyl. But it was quite, you know, it's harrowing. Also that, you know, even now in 2020, we're still not listening to the scientists, you know. Anyway, but that was an interesting watch. The cinema, we went to see Parasite. We actually went to see it on the 25th of December. We celebrate Christmas here on the 24th in the evening, and also on the 25th. And Parasite, which is a Korean film, had a premiere here on the 25th of December. So we went to see that. Interestingly enough, my husband and my daughter, they loved it. Also, my son loved it, and I was kind of, could have been a bit shorter. Anyway, you can go and look up what it's all about. I was expecting to enjoy it more, and they really loved it, but anyway. And the last thing, oh yeah, other things that we're kind of watching at the moment. Vibeke was telling me about a series. I'm not sure if it's Netflix or HBO, you'll need to check. but glow up and glow, and it's all about these makeup artists and they have to do so. That's quite entertaining, not the kind of thing that I normally watch, but you kind of get sucked into, and Vibeke says she ends up binge watching it because when Vibeke watches television like that, she's knitting or crocheting. How she can concentrate on two things at the same time, I do not know, but you know me, I can't knit or crochet. I can only use my sewing machine. And other things that we're looking forward to is hopefully there'll be season 2 of Kingdom, which was a Korean production set hundreds of years ago, and they involved zombies. Loved that. There was lots of men in fancy hats, very beautiful hats. And two things that I've seen people mentioning on Instagram and here on the YouTube comments is Picard, Picard, Star Trek, there's a new one, and Ray Donovan, which seems to be quite violent, but I can like things like that. So anyway, that's what we've been watching and what we've been reading, and I've been speaking for 20 minutes, and now I'm starving after my one-on-one session with Sue this morning. So anyway, I hope you can find something in your local library that you can read. Remember, if you're hosting a clothes swap, get the others to bring along some books or magazines. You know, you don't have to be out buying stuff all the time. You're gonna, pass it on to somebody else, and then when you've read it, pass it on again. And the one last thing, because we are coming up into the spring, and I've taken a big selection at the moment, because we have in Denmark, it's the schools winter holiday week in week 7. That's a tradition here. So the schools are closed in week 7, or I think in week 8, depending on where you live in Denmark. So we have a lot of spare time coming up where people, excuse me, traditionally go off and ski, or they're at home, they're in their summer houses, you're reading and doing stuff. And we're getting towards the spring, and we've got all the catalogues right now for adult education. Now, this is, going to night classes, day classes, and everything from learning Chinese to going on guided tours somewhere, in Copenhagen. You can see there, going to see the ballet, learning how to play the flute or be in a band, and these are all they're kind of subsidized by the state, because in Denmark it's very important for us that everybody gets a good education and continues to educate themselves. And I've signed up for a cookery class this summer. It's a one-off one, but there are lots of different cookery classes available. Spanish food with wine, you can go to italiensk medellering, there's street food. You could also go to Japanese drawing, drawing signs, training with your dog. So there are tons of opportunities in Denmark for things like that. And this is a season that everybody's kind of, okay, it's beginning to get bright again. People are wanting to learn new stuff. So anyway, keep your eyes open. Maybe there's something new that you want to try. Push your boundaries a wee bit. I mean, look at me. I'm not a sporty person, but look at me. I've even got the sports gear on today. So you never know what's going to happen. So on that note, I'm going to get all my books back in the basket and got on with my Tuesday. Tuesday in Flylady Land is Plan and Play Day. I'm making my menu plan for the next couple of weeks because I'm going to be away and leaving the family in charge here when I'm in Slovenia. So I need to make sure that that's in hand. And I'm also going to connect with some friends. Keep your friends on your radar, and I'm going to make appointments with them to see them over the next couple of months. So anyway, that's my Plan and Play Tuesday. So on that note, all I've got left to say is live long and prosper. May the book and TV and film hygge be with you, and I shall see you very soon. Bye for now.